There has always been a need to catch bad guys and lock them up to help maintain order and safety in society. Throughout human history, the process of keeping inmates separated from the outside world has been relatively straightforward. Build a bunch of walls, hire guards to control the entrance and exit points, and voila, you have almost total control of everything and everyone that comes in and out of the premises. However, a recent burst in technology has thrown a curveball at the current methods of keeping contraband out of the hands of prisoners. This technology is Unmanned Aircraft Systems, also known as drones. Today, anyone can walk into a hobby store and buy a drone for just a couple $100, and all of a sudden, walls are not an obstacle anymore. Prisons all across the country have been reporting attempts to use drones to smuggle in contraband such as drugs, weapons, and cell phones. This is a serious issue that could very well put people's lives on the line if it isn't addressed in a timely manner. Utilizing a drone to smuggle contraband bypasses almost all of the limitations of more widely known smuggling methods. A drone's main limiting factor is weight, while shape is not as significant, especially when compared to smuggling on a person's body. With the purchase of a drone, some costing around $300 or less, a payload of 5 pounds or more can be carried easily. This is the equivalent of over $150,000 worth of cocaine, or around 20 cell phones, 40 pocket knives, 5 pounds of explosives, or even a loaded 9mm handgun.
There are ideas even more dangerous than drone-delivered cell phones.
Could you put a handgun under here and fly it in?
Very easily, and that's what scares us.
If 40 inmates were armed with knives at the same time, the resulting prison riot could be very deadly and may even overwhelm the security of the prison. Cell phones, as harmless as they may seem, can also pose a threat to everyone in the prison and even the public. When an inmate possesses a phone, they are able to contact associates outside the walls and organize nefarious activities, including more smuggling attempts. Ultimately, any one or combination of these prohibited items could even lead to an inmate's escape from prison, undoing the work of making society safer. To further add to the problem, the operator of the drone is difficult to locate, which means even if their operation is unsuccessful, they can easily get away and try again later. Methods for actively detecting and deterring smuggling attempts from drones must be implemented by all prisons as soon as possible. The law is struggling to keep up with this evolving issue. Laws won't stop criminals, but they will at least stop law-abiding citizens and allow those criminals to be charged when they get caught. 14 CFR Part 107 is the primary regulation dealing with the operation of drones, and it already prohibits operators from dropping objects, quote, in a manner that creates an undue hazard to persons or property. Additionally, the FAA has already worked with the federal government to create flight restrictions for drones over the lateral boundaries of some federal prisons from the surface to 400 feet, as detailed in 14 CFR 99.7. However, this only covers a small percentage of federal prisons, and no state prisons, which are much greater in number. Some states, such as California, have already addressed this issue. Their Senate Bill number 1355 enforces a $500 fine for anyone who knowingly flies above a correctional facility. Similarly, a North Carolina bill signed in 2017 prohibits operation within a certain distance of a correctional facility and considers it a felony when attempting to deliver contraband. Unfortunately, this problem evolved much faster than the law is capable of dealing with, and even if it does keep up, the law won't physically stop the criminals or penalize lawbreakers enough to set an example.
Maybe this would teach you to listen to authority!
Ow! Ow! Ow!
Still, lawmakers and officials want to see this problem grounded.
Prisons must implement methods to eliminate the threat that drones pose. With the problems prisons are facing now identified and understood, a wide variety of solutions are available to employ. Because of the recency of this threat, little to no prisons have actually implemented solutions to safeguard themselves from smuggling via drones. Therefore, a multi-layered approach must be taken to ensure maximum protection for prisons. This model shown was created by Dr. Ryan Wallace, a professor of Unmanned Aircraft Systems at Embry-Riddle Aeronautical University, and it details the processes at every stage. The first step is prevention. This involves actively engaging the community with outreach programs to help educate on the laws and consequences regarding UAS operations, particularly in areas near prisons. Additionally, a simple reporting program for law-abiding citizens to report violations with ease is necessary for community engagement and accountability. Lastly, every prison across the United States must be thoroughly educated on this new smuggling method and trained on how to combat it. The second step is deterrence. As mentioned previously, there are restrictions for flying over some federal correctional facilities. However, it must be unlawful to operate drones over every single federal prison in the United States, and each individual state must implement the same laws over the state prisons. The consequences for breaking these laws must be severe, and anyone caught should be prosecuted to the fullest extent in order to set an example. Signs indicating no flying areas near prisons, as well as the consequences, can be put up surrounding the greater area of prison property. The next step in the process is denial. These are measures to thwart the effectiveness of small unmanned aircraft systems. This is steps such as physical barriers and geofencing. If a prison is able to construct large netting to cover all, or as much as possible, of open yard areas accessible to inmates, this will assist in denying access to drones. The second part, geofencing, is extremely necessary for every area surrounding prisons. Geofencing is location-specific, programmed flight restrictions and limitations designed to prevent or restrict drone flights. This is usually implemented to avert security and safety risks and can prevent entry or ground launch from within the geofenced area. Geofenced areas can be accessed by proper application and credentials, or bypassed by modifying the drone to block the GPS signal, which can be done with basic tools. Geofencing and the possibilities of physical barriers and netting must be implemented by every state and federal prison. Detection is the next step and involves utilizing measures to detect, identify, and track small unmanned aircraft systems. This can be done using systems such as the Aeroscope, AeroSentry, Drone Tracker, and many other products that work in a similar fashion. When up and running, the Aeroscope detects DJI products in a radius of 3 to 45 miles, depending on the setup and antenna configuration.
And this is just running Google Maps. So you're layering your own information on top of Google?
Yes, that's right. If you click in on a drone, you'll actually see the historical information of where it's been flying nearby you. So for example, if we're at a sensitive facility and I see a drone just flying circles out in the background, that's not a problem. But if I see something flying straight towards me at a high speed, that's something that I'll want to investigate.
Right.
Products from DJI, such as the Phantom and Inspire series, account for around 70% of drones being flown every single day. With the Aeroscope, all of the information from the drone is displayed, including flight path, telemetry, launch location, and even the email of the owner if the drone has been registered. Patrol units outside the prison and local law enforcement can utilize the Aeroscope to quickly identify the exact launch point of the drone and head right to it, stopping the threat from the source. An Aeroscope, or a similar system, is necessary for identifying illegal drone operations around every prison. The next point in the process is interruption. A method to interrupt the drone and avert any adverse actions will need to be available. This includes operator interruption, jamming, and spoofing. Jamming specifically refers to intentionally using a transmission blocking signal to disrupt the communications between a drone and the pilot. Spoofing refers to a third party taking over the drone remotely by impersonating the remote control. It involves emitting a signal that is supposed to confuse the drone so that it thinks the spoofing signal is legitimate. Systems such as Skyfence and D-Drone are designed to prevent drones from flying into or close to a protected location by disrupting its command and navigation radio transmissions. The overwhelming signal from Skyfence will break the control and video link between the operator and the drone. For most commercial drones available today, this will cause the aircraft to immediately return to the spot where it was launched. This method of interruption causes no interference to other electronic devices and is reported to stop 99.7% of commercial drones. These defense systems can be programmed for a specific range, both horizontally and vertically. The use of spoofing and jamming equipment is highly regulated, and the Federal Communications Commission states that jammers cannot be marketed or operated in the United States except for the very limited context of authorized official use by the federal government.
But SkySafe doesn't just track drones, it also intercepts them. And Jordan says that's what the real regulatory battle could be about, hacking drones to take them down when they truly are dangerous. Okay, so taking down drones might look cool, but there is a catch. Intercepting drones, for the most part, is illegal, even if it's with a roll of toilet paper.
Finally, it may be necessary to perform the last component in the model, destruction. This is a variety of measures to damage or destroy the threat, including small arms fire or net guns. This engagement component should be done in a specific process, and per the recent FAA Reauthorization Act of 2018, is allowed by government officials. Small unmanned aircraft systems, also known as drones, are considered aircraft by law and are protected under Title 18 of the U.S. Code 32 from, quote, sabotage to include destruction of any aircraft in the special aircraft jurisdiction of the United States. Violation of this code carries a maximum prison sentence of 20 years. In other words, it is illegal to shoot down any aircraft in the U.S., including a drone, according to federal law. However, reasonable exceptions can always be made, and this should certainly be one of them. When the aircraft has been detected, identified, and tracked, and a search has begun for the operator, an assessment of the threat should be conducted. The right to act must be confirmed, and the situation and environment evaluated for risks, hazards, and collateral effects. After the engagement, the aircraft is recovered and investigation is launched. Some of the methods available can actually preserve the drone with minimal damage. The Skywall 100 is a handheld launcher system that physically captures the drone with a net, then deploys a parachute as the drone descends to the ground.
It combines a compressed gas-powered launcher with an intelligent projectile. This portable system provides a highly mobile and cost-effective method of dealing with drone threats. The launcher is equipped with a smart scope to assist in precise targeting. The operator acquires a target while receiving constant feedback from the smart scope. The onboard computer tracks the target's flight path and calculates the required projectile trajectory to intercept a hovering or moving drone. The smart scope responds, forcing the operator to adjust their aim. Vertical adjustments account for range, while lateral adjustments allow the operator to accurately lead a moving target.
The parachute protects the drone from substantial damage, preserving evidence for investigation.
The only way to completely neutralize a drone, whether it's being flown manually or autonomously, is to physically intercept it. The system can be rapidly reloaded, allowing multiple drone threats to be quickly engaged by a single operator.
Another option is the Skynet Mi-5 12-gauge shotgun shell, which could be readily available for guards to load at a moment's notice. Upon firing, 5 tethered segments separate and create a 5-foot wide capture net to effectively trap the drone's propellers, causing it to fail. Although the legality of this will be difficult to overcome, correctional facilities should receive the full support and authority of the federal government to implement every component of this model and the respective measures within. The threat drones pose to prisons is becoming widely known, but no solutions are being implemented. The more time that passes, the more contraband is smuggled into prisons. It is only a matter of time before a loaded handgun or explosives are on board the drone and fatalities occur. The benefits of implementing the solutions presented will be substantial. Both prisons and communities will be safer, and a rising method for smuggling will be grounded.